All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? The research you sent over this time has me pretty intrigued.
Yeah, heart health. It's a topic that's obviously close to a lot of our hearts.
Absolutely.
But I gotta say, some of this stuff really challenges what a lot of us have been told about preventing heart attacks.
It does, yeah. It really kind of goes against the grain, doesn't it?
It does. So I'm excited to dig into it with you and kind of see what we uncover.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting conversation.
I think so too. So let's just jump right in. One of the things that really struck me at the beginning of this research was uh, kind of the stark reality that cardiovascular disease is, still the leading cause of death globally,
Right.
surpassing even cancer.
It is, yeah. It's a little bit alarming when you look at it statistically. You think about it, it's like if you needed a lawyer and you found out that they had a 92% loss rate,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't hire them, would you?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the current state of heart health, unfortunately. Despite all of the advancements in surgery and different technologies, the overall way that we're approaching this problem is seemingly not working.
It's not working. And it's kind of interesting to contrast that with some of the amazing victories that medicine has had,
Right.
over the years. I mean, we've practically eradicated so many
Like
diseases.
polio.
Polio, smallpox, even tuberculosis. I mean, these were huge
Huge killer.
killers. And now they're barely even on the radar.
Right.
So it does beg the question, what's different? What are we doing right in those cases that we're maybe not doing with heart disease?
Yeah, and the common thread, that I saw kind of weaving through all of the success stories was identifying the root cause.
Root cause.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this research, makes the argument that with heart disease we're not really doing that. And it introduces this term statinism.
Right, statinism. So the over reliance on statins as a solution to heart disease.
Right. And while, statins definitely have their place, this research suggests that they might not be addressing the underlying cause of the problem.
Right, it's treating the symptoms. And if you think about it, if statins were truly solving the root cause of heart disease, wouldn't we have seen a more dramatic decline in heart attacks and deaths?
Yeah, I mean the numbers haven't shifted that much, have they?
Yeah. And what's really interesting is that, kind of shifting gears a little bit, that same research that talks about statinism lays out a framework
Oh, okay.
called the Unified Theory of Cardiovascular Disease.
Unified theory of cardiovascular disease.
Sounds pretty compelling, right?
Yeah, very, very comprehensive.
Yeah. And essentially what it suggests is that the primary culprit isn't simply cholesterol or fat.
Yeah.
It's this thing called weak collagen in our arteries.
Okay, hold on. Now we're getting into something a little different. Collagen. We're talking about like the stuff in beauty cream.
Right, exactly.
What does that have to do with our arteries?
Well, believe it or not, collagen is actually a vital component of our artery walls. Think of it as kind of the scaffolding that gives them their strength, their flexibility.
So if the collagen is weak, then the arteries are more susceptible to damage and blockages.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating about this research is that it suggests that humans, us and captive primates, we're unique in our susceptibility to heart disease
Yeah.
because of our modern diets.
Right.
Essentially what it's arguing is that we're experiencing this chronic malnutrition.
Okay.
And that's what leads to that weak arterial collagen.
So our modern diets
Yeah.
are making our arteries weaker.
That's what this research is proposing. And this is where this other thing comes into play called lipoprotein. You may have heard of it, LPA.
Oh yeah, LPA. Now I always thought that was a type of cholesterol, like a bad cholesterol.
Yeah, right? That's kind of the conventional wisdom.
That's what they tell you.
But this is where this research really challenges that thinking.
Yeah.
It suggests that LPA actually plays a crucial role in supporting those weakened arteries and even preventing ruptures.
Really? So instead of being, the villain, it's more like the first responder
That's a great analogy.
rushing to the scene to kind of patch things up.
Exactly. So what happens is instead of just kind of accumulating on the surface of arteries like other forms of cholesterol, LPA actually infiltrates the artery walls.
Goes right in.
Goes right in and acts like a scaffolding, to kind of reinforce the structure where it's most needed.
Interesting. So our bodies are producing more LPA
Yeah.
to compensate for the weak collagen.
That's what this research is suggesting. It's
Hmm.
like our body's way of trying to put a Band-Aid on a deeper problem.
Yeah. It's really making me rethink a lot of what I thought I knew about heart health. If this theory is correct, then just focusing on lowering cholesterol with statins, it might not be the most effective strategy.
You're getting to the heart of it. It's about addressing that root cause,
The root cause.
which in this case, this research is suggesting is that weak arterial collagen. So then the question becomes, okay, so what can we actually do about it? What can we do to strengthen our arteries, to
Hmm.
really prevent these heart attacks from happening?
Right, right. What can we do?
And thankfully the research has some answers. It outlines a solution called the Restoration Vascular Protocol.
Okay.
It takes a much more holistic approach to heart health, really focusing on three key areas: vascular distribution, heart pump efficiency, and bioelectric function.
Now those sound like some pretty technical terms.
Mm.
So for our listeners who maybe aren't, as familiar with the ins and outs of heart health, could you kind of break those down a little bit for us?
Sure, sure. So vascular distribution, that's all about, ensuring that blood is flowing effectively throughout the body, It involves things like maintaining healthy blood pressure, reducing inflammation, making sure that everything's kind of moving smoothly.
So it's not just about the arteries themselves, but it's about the whole system
The whole system.
that's delivering the blood to the tissues, to the organ.
Exactly. And then heart pump efficiency, as the name suggests, is all about making sure your heart is pumping, strongly and efficiently.
Now I'm assuming exercise plays a big role there.
You got it.
Got to get that heart rate up.
Got to get that heart rate up. Keep it strong. And then the third one that you mentioned, bioelectric function, that one's a little bit more maybe a little bit more esoteric for some people, but essentially it refers to the electrical signals that regulate your heartbeat.
The electrical signals.
Well, yeah, it's a fascinating area of research, and what the protocol suggests is that certain lifestyle factors
Okay.
can actually influence these bioelectric signals.
Things like what?
Well, things like stress management, sleep quality, believe it or not, even things like, your exposure to electromagnetic fields.
Wow. So it really is about looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
Everything from what we eat, how we manage stress, how we sleep, can impact our heart health.
That's the kind of unique perspective that this restoration vascular protocol brings. It recognizes that heart health isn't this isolated thing.
It's not compartmentalized.
Right. It's interconnected with all these other aspects of our well-being.
Right. Yeah, it's fascinating. Before we get into the specifics of that protocol, the research also mentions 3 general actions
Right.
that just about anyone can take to support heart health. And these are things that, that says regardless of your individual situation,
Right.
these are kind of universally applicable.
Universal, yeah.
So what are they? What are those three steps?
So the first one is to supplement all of the water-soluble B vitamins at 10 times the recommended daily allowance.
10 times. Wow. That seems like a lot. Are you sure that's safe?
Well, obviously, as with with any kind of supplement regimen, you always want to consult with your doctor first. But the research suggests that these B vitamins they play a crucial role in collagen production,
Okay.
and that 10 times the RDA is really what's needed for optimal heart health.
Interesting. So what about the other 2 steps?
The second step is to lower your HbA1c, which is basically a measure of your average blood sugar levels over time, to below 4.9%.
So basically keep your blood sugar in check. I'm guessing that helps with that whole chronic malnutrition thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stable blood sugar levels, they're essential for providing your body with the nutrients it needs to build strong, healthy tissues, and that includes those all important arteries.
All right. So 2 down, 1 to go. What's the final step?
This one might be a little controversial for some people, but it's to eliminate all polyunsaturated oils from your diet except for olive oil.
Wait. Polyunsaturated oils. I thought those were supposed to be like the healthy fats. I thought those were Those are good for our hearts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we've been told for years. But again, this research is challenging that notion.
Okay.
It suggests that polyunsaturated oils can actually contribute to inflammation and weaken those arterial walls.
So ditch the canola oil, stick with the olive oil.
That seems to be the takeaway, at least according to this research.
Okay. All right. Those are some pretty bold recommendations.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners are wondering, if they follow these steps, what kind of impact can they expect to see on their heart health?
Well, the research suggests that by addressing that root cause of weak collagen, you can potentially prevent, and even reverse heart disease.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah,
It sounds like we have more control over our heart health than we might think.
we do.
So if this chronic malnutrition is the root cause, what what specific dietary changes, can we make to strengthen our arterial collagen?
That's a great question, and that actually leads us into some of the more nuanced aspects of the restoration vascular protocol.
Okay.
So should we maybe delve into those details now?
I think our listeners are ready. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Let's unpack it. Let's get into some of those details. It's really fascinating how this research, delves into the specifics of strengthening that arterial collagen.
Yeah, yeah, I'm ready to hear all about it. I have to admit, I'm still a little bit surprised about that whole polyunsaturated oil thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought those were heart healthy.
I think, it's one of those deeply ingrained beliefs about nutrition that this research really challenges.
Right.
But remember, we're trying to break free from that hypnotic trance, of
Yeah.
conventional wisdom.
Right, the hypnotic trance. I remember that phrase from the research. It's such a vivid way to describe, how we can get stuck in these outdated ways of thinking.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
So if polyunsaturated oils aren't the answer, what kind of dietary changes does this restoration vascular protocol recommend for stronger collagen?
Well, it really emphasizes a diet that's rich in nutrients that specifically support collagen production.
Cool.
Think bone broth, gelatin, foods high in vitamin C, things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, those are all foods that are traditionally known for their nourishing properties.
Right.
It's almost like going back to basics, in a way.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm guessing this ties back into that whole chronic malnutrition idea.
Exactly. By addressing those nutritional deficiencies, we can really create an environment where our bodies can repair and rebuild that essential collagen.
Okay, so diet plays a huge role. What else does the restoration vascular protocol address? I remember you mentioned, vascular distribution and heart pump efficiency.
Right, right. So vascular distribution, that's all about, making sure that blood is flowing effectively throughout the body. And that involves things like, maintaining healthy blood pressure, reducing inflammation.
So it's not just about the arteries themselves; it's about the whole system, the whole network
The whole network, yeah.
that delivers the blood to our tissues and organs.
Right, exactly. And then heart pump efficiency, as you might guess, is all about making sure your heart is pumping strongly and efficiently.
Yeah, I could see where exercise would come into play here.
You got it. Regular physical activity is essential for strengthening that heart muscle and improving its overall function.
Yeah, and that reminds me, you mentioned bioelectric function earlier. What is that all about, and how does it relate to heart health?
So bioelectric function, that refers to the electrical signals that regulate your heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating area of research, and what this protocol suggests is that certain lifestyle factors, they can influence these bioelectric signals.
Like what? Give us some examples.
So things like stress management, sleep quality, even your exposure to electromagnetic fields.
Wow. So it really is about, looking at the whole picture.
Yeah.
Everything from what we eat to how we manage our stress, can impact our heart health.
That's the beauty of it, that the restoration vascular protocol, it recognizes that heart health isn't this isolated thing.
Right.
It's interconnected with all these other aspects of our well-being.
Yeah, yeah. It's fascinating stuff. Now I'm curious, is there anything specific that this research, says about
Yeah.
LPA. I mean, we talked about its role in supporting weak arteries, but I'm still not entirely convinced that it's not, harmful in some way.
Well, it's understandable to have those concerns,
Yeah.
especially given, kind of the traditional view of LPA as this dangerous form of cholesterol. But again, this research is encouraging us to kind of see it in a different light.
Okay, okay. I'm trying to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
So what does this new perspective on LPA entail?
It suggests that LPA is actually a very complex molecule, with both beneficial and potentially harmful
Yeah.
effects. And the key is understanding the
The
context.
context. Okay, could you explain that a bit further?
Yeah, yeah. So think about, how we were discussing how LPA acts like a scaffolding to support those weak arteries. That's a beneficial role.
Right.
It's preventing those arteries from rupturing.
Yeah.
But if those arteries remain weak over time and LPA keeps accumulating, then it can actually start to contribute to blockages.
So it's not that LPA itself is bad, it's more about the underlying condition of the arteries.
You got it. The research suggests that focusing solely on lowering LPA levels, might be kind of missing the point. It's like trying to fix a leaky roof by mopping up the water on the floor
Oh.
without actually addressing the source of the leak.
That's the problem.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So instead of just, kind of targeting LPA,
Yeah.
what this restoration vascular protocol is aiming to do is to strengthen those arteries so they don't need that extra support.
Right. So they can function properly on their own.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where all of these dietary and lifestyle interventions that we were talking about, that's where they really come into play.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces kind of fit together now.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting framework, but I imagine there's still a lot more to learn about this protocol. The research mentioned something about subphenotypes, right?
It did. It did. Subphenotypes, those are a crucial aspect of the restoration vascular protocol.
Okay.
It recognizes that everyone's cardiovascular health is unique and that there's no one size fits all approach.
We're all different.
Yeah, we're all different. So essentially what subphenotypes are they're distinct categories or groupings of individuals
Yeah.
based on their specific cardiovascular characteristics. So, for example, a young athletic individual with healthy arteries would likely fall into a different subphenotype than someone who's, older and has a history of heart disease.
It's like personalized medicine for heart health.
That's a great way to think about it.
Mm.
So the protocol really takes into account factors like your age, your genetics, your lifestyle, your medical history
Yeah.
to determine the most appropriate course of action.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So how do people figure out, their subphenotype and what interventions they need?
Well, thankfully there's a program that really delves into the nuances of subphenotyping
Oh,
and
just
provides
the-
personalized guidance, it's called.
Kimon, spill the beans, what's it called? It sounds like something that could be really, really helpful for people who, want to take that more personalized approach to heart health.
It's called I Love My Heart.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great name. It's simple, it's positive, it gets straight to the point. So tell me more about it. What exactly does this I Love My Heart program, what does it entail?
It's a comprehensive, multi-week online program
Yeah.
designed to guide you through the process of understanding your unique cardiovascular needs
Yeah.
and then implementing those personalized interventions that we were talking about.
So it sounds like a great way to kind of put all this knowledge into action. What kind of things are covered in the program?
Well, it goes into much greater depth about the concepts that we've discussed today, the unified theory of cardiovascular disease, the role of collagen, the impact of nutrition, and
Yeah.
and of course those all important subphenotypes.
So it helps you figure out, which subphenotype you fall into.
Right.
And then provides, specific recommendations based on that.
That's right. It includes assessments to help you determine, your current cardiovascular health, identify any areas that need attention,
Yeah.
and then it provides, tailored guidance on diet, lifestyle modifications, and even, targeted supplementation.
So it really is like a personalized roadmap to stronger, healthier arteries.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it, expands on those three general actions that we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. It dives much deeper into each of those steps, providing specific recommendations, resources, that sort of thing.
That's fantastic. That sounds like a really valuable resource for anyone who's serious about improving their heart health. And I remember the research mentioned a book as well.
Yes. There's a companion book,
Okay.
also called I Love My Heart.
I love my heart.
Okay. Which delves even further into all of these concepts.
A book. That's awesome. I'm a big believer in empowering people with knowledge,
Right.
And it sounds like this book does exactly that. What kind of information, does it cover?
Well, it really expands on everything that we've talked about today.
Yeah.
Providing a more comprehensive understanding of the unified theory of cardiovascular disease, the science behind it, the practical steps you can take to optimize your heart health.
So it's like a heart health Bible,
Yeah,
packed with evidence-based information, actionable insights.
exactly.
That's great. And is it written in a way that's easy to understand?
It is. It's written in a really engaging and accessible style. The author, who's also the creator of the I Love My Heart program, really wanted to make this information, understandable and empowering for everyone.
I love that. It's not about, just throwing a bunch of technical jargon at people. It's about helping them understand how to take control of their own well-being.
Right, exactly. And the book is also designed as a hypertext, which means it's filled with links to additional resources,
Right.
videos, even scientific studies.
Wow, that's taking learning to a whole new level.
It is. It is.
It's like having a personalized heart health expert at your fingertips.
That's a great way to put it. The author really went above and beyond to make this information, as comprehensive and accessible as possible.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. Where can our listeners, find out more about this I Love My Heart program and the book?
So the program is set to launch on August 5th, and we'll include a link to the website in the show notes.
Perfect. Be sure to check out that link, everyone. This sounds like an opportunity you won't want to miss. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways that you want our listeners to walk away with today?
Well, first and foremost, I hope they've gained a new perspective on heart health. The unified theory of cardiovascular disease, it offers a fresh way of thinking about preventing and even reversing heart disease. One that goes beyond, simply lowering cholesterol.
It's about understanding that root cause, right? Which is that weak collagen.
The root cause.
And addressing that through nutrition, through lifestyle changes, and those targeted interventions.
Exactly. And I also hope that listeners feel empowered by this information. It's not about living in fear of heart disease. It's about taking proactive steps to strengthen your heart and live a vibrant, healthy life.
Yeah, that's a great message to end on. It's about taking control of our own health and well-being.
Exactly. Exactly.
And remember, it's never too late to start making changes.
That's right.
Even small steps, can make a big difference over time.
They can.
Absolutely. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Another one down.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to check out the show notes for that link to the I Love My Heart program. And until next time, keep those hearts happy and healthy.
Keep them healthy.